and welcome to our second last episode of Talk the Talk with Manahyl. While we are going to start this episode, I have a request to make. Please hit the subscribe button that's below and help us make a little bit more of this content that we really think you need to see. Today I am sitting with a very special person. She has inspired us all through sheer hard work. And if there's luck and anything else to play in the journey, we're going to find out all about that. She is the empress of the world of baking. Please welcome Naila Naqvi from Pie in the Sky. Hello.
Empress, that's a bit.
You are though.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I call you empress because you have slowly built your empire. You really have.
20 years.
20 years. That's like,
that's a long time.
That is a long time. And now I believe, last time I checked, you were on 20 outlets.
No, we're 2 in Hyderabad and we're at 24.
So you have jumped 2 outlets now.
We opened 2 during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, that's nice. I mean, because I think it's been hard for a lot of businesses in the pandemic and you wouldn't...
It's been hard for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's been hard. The first lockdown was very hard.
Right.
When they really put a lot of restrictions. But after that, shukar, it's eased a little bit. Restrictions on bakeries have eased. So it's been easier. It's much easier.
We have so much to ask, mostly about how, when, how, what, and why. Tell me something about you as a child and your first ever memory with food, or your first ever fond memory with food.
Yeah. Well, I am the youngest of 3 girls, so we have no brother.
Okay.
So my father was very determined that as not having, no brother or anything, that we should be able to look after ourselves. As far as memories with food, my mum was a great baker. She made all our birthday cakes.
Oh, wow.
All of them. And she would sort of make cookies with each child's name on them and then string them up on a tree. And then she'd make sort of strings of popcorn and decorate, just everything.
Making food fun.
And this memory has always stayed with me, I think, and always will. She made a cake, I think it was my 5th birthday, and she made, I think it was that I'm not too sure. I think it was either a teddy bear or a bunny rabbit, and it was as tall as I was. So there's this photograph my mamu took of me, and I'm lying down next to the cake.
Oh,
and this cake and we were the same height. She had made this huge cake. So, those are the sort of memories I think I grew up with.
That's very special.
Yeah.
And if you can pull up that photo.
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah, you doubt. Okay, but it would have been so.
Yeah, but I can visualize it, but I don't know where it is now.
So you've had a very positive thing, and I think your mom. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Little things that us mothers do, and we don't really realize when it could be inspiring our children to what their life's purpose is meant to be.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily think, while you're baking and, you hope that your kid would pick up all this stuff, but if it's a natural gift.
I don't know whether she ever thought of it that way, but it was just something she loved doing.
Having that amazing family support, not being, having the privilege to go ahead and do what you want and get your education and be whoever you wanted to be. After that, when you decided, you started working, you were in hotels, and you came into this, having your own bakery. How did that really begin for you as a thought process and as a journey?
When we, very long ago, when we gave our O-levels, it used to be in December.
Okay.
We used to give it in sort of November, December. So you always had like a 6-month period where you had nothing to do before you went to university in fall. So I had the 6 months and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to study. So my mother worked for Mr. Avari, and she just spoke to him and said, look, she's got 6 months, can you just... Avari Towers hadn't officially opened yet. So she said, but
this iconic
Avari
white
Towers.
building.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so she said, can you just sort of put her in, give her some training, so she finds, just keep her occupied. I think, I don't think I'll ever forget again, walking into sort of the hotel for the first time, because it was like, just the sounds and the smells and everything, I just fell in love. And it was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And they had a British training manager who then devised a 2-year management training program for me.
For you?
For me especially. And I got university, I said, whatever it is, this is what I want to do. And I was at Avari for 2 years, training. I went through every department. I went through the kitchen, I went through laundry, I went through the front desk. I did everything. I've cleaned bathrooms, I've done everything, I've done it all. And then they offered me a job after I finished my training. I stayed on. Then I applied for a scholarship. There was a scholarship offered by Singapore. Did my hotel management from there, like a higher diploma in hotel management I did from Singapore, and I did a food and beverage management certification from Switzerland. Then came back and again joined the Avari. And I was at the Avari for about 9 years.
Okay, I didn't know about that, that duration being a full, almost a
very long
decade.
Time. Yeah, it was a very long time. Actually, I have to give my husband credit.
Okay.
He is the one who suggested the bakery. After we got married, he was of the sort of, and still is of the opinion that a woman needs to have more than just home and children in her life. That she needs to have something outside the home. And she said, because his thing was like, well, the kids will grow up, they'll move on. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? But it's interesting you mentioned that, because my question to you during the course of this interview was going to be, and you manage your work, and you've been working from day one. I mean, from even before you went for university, you've been working. And often now we come across women who or public figures, or well, they shouldn't be in the first place, but they are, and they are making statements like, well, a woman should know where everything is of her husband, the socks and the shoes and all of that, and you should know if he's eaten, but he doesn't really need to know if you've had your meal or whatever. And I wanted to know what you thought of that, but clearly,
and I've never had an issue with that.
And your husband himself came up with.
He is the one who suggested the bakery. Because he said, that's what you're... And in fact, well, before I got married, I was also supplying desserts to some restaurants from home. I was working at Avari.
Doing this.
And I would bake at night and then supply desserts.
Okay.
So it was his suggestion. He said, why don't you, rather than get into another profession, you love what you're doing. So just sort of take that take the next step rather.
Next step.
And then he in fact researched and found this place called the International School of Baking in Oregon, in America. And I went there and did another 6 weeks on how to set up a professional bakery.
So you've had a lot of training. And a lot of, this is not just I got up and I started making tarts and pies actually. And I think that has its merit as well. There are a lot of people who have done it that way, and that's hats off to them. Of course. But your journey has been through series of training, extensive training, and I feel it's helped. Has he? I know your husband's name is Hamid. Yes. And all your friends have, by the way, the nicest things to say about the two of you as a couple, and him being like. I heard that he's a lot of fun and he's the sweetest, whatever. He's come up with this brilliant idea. How much more did you need him during this process? Like how many? Well, he
he and my father-in-law and my brothers-in-law invested in the business. Okay, I took sort of a loan, which I've never paid back from them.
Yeah, you don't have to.
And I also had that sort of advantage that, when I started the business, I didn't have that pressure on me that I had to sort of immediately make money because I had to return it. So, that was
that really gives you
a breathing space.
Of course.
And so, initially I may have needed Hamid initially for, like permissions from Clifton Cantonment Board or, anything like that. But quite honestly, he did help me. When I asked for help, he did, because setting up a business is not easy. If you've never done it, there's a lot, it's a real learning curve. But, any input I needed, he helped with. But, I think that was very short-lived.
Yeah.
And no, then beyond that, no. I haven't really, I mean, he still, to this day, is like a sounding board, If I've had a really bad day, I'll go home and it was your fault.
Yeah.
You're the one who suggested the bakery.
For what I've heard, he's very good at saying yes, and he's good at like letting it.
Sort of, but, even now if I'm, mulling through a problem, if there's something, I'll discuss it with him. But, more than that, there's no other input. It's just, he's there for sort of moral, emotional support.
I don't know if you remember this or not, by the way. I was there for the very first opening.
Were you with Noma?
Yes, actually I had come with your niece Marika.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And it was the day you I think you'd done it in like a couple of days,
maybe,
and there was one for your family and one was for friends. So Noma went in that friends one, but I got to come into the family one. But what did you feel walking into your first, like looking at your vision being realized?
I was also 7 months pregnant when I opened Pie in the Sky. So it was a lot of, oh my God. But, I never really thought about it.
Yeah, the timing, I was going to say, did you?
No.
Okay.
Sort of, a lot of family members were like, did you even plan this?
That's two babies in one, yeah, really.
But anyway.
That is a twin
But, I didn't really sort of, I never overthought it. I just sort of said, well, okay, it's happened. You just go with the flow and just deal with it, And I loved our first outlet because, when you walked in, you had these huge glass windows and you could see the baking area at the back. Because the baking was at the back and the retail was in front, and we had, to the left, we had this huge glass, again a glass window, in which was the cake section. The sort of, we had, AC, air-conditioned section where you could actually see me. I mean, I used to also bake at that point, and, icing or decorating the cakes, and, at the back you could see the breads coming out of the oven, and, so it was very exciting. It was very exciting. The timing was obviously, not ideal because, I had this huge stomach, and the bakers were with me, used to be running around me trying to protect my stomach around the oven and the stove, and but they were very sweet, yeah. But you don't let those things stop you. You just kind of don't let it become an issue. You don't sort of overthink it and say, oh my God, now how am I going to handle it? You just handle it. You have to. Just get on with it.
Yeah, I've been saying recently, a lot of people have come and said, what would you say? And I always I don't know how else to say it other than, just do it. If you have an idea or if you've had some kind of a thing, you want to do something with your life, you want to start a new job, you want to, experiment with something. It's really, it's as simple as don't overthink it. It kind of does fall into place.
There's certain decisions when you're making, you have to be very clear that it's the correct decision. But otherwise, I think we tend to just analyze everything too much, I mean, like, for example, like I said, my kitchen was at the back of our first outlet. Then we opened our second outlet. We opened our third outlet, which wasn't immediate, but and while I was, my second one was in my tummy, I decided I had to move my kitchen to a bigger place, to a bigger locality. So, there I am negotiating with landlords with this big tummy. But, if you're going to make that an issue, then it becomes an issue. But like I said, I'm privileged that it was never an issue. Like my in-laws, it was never like, oh my God, what is she doing? She's, it
She's
just,
pregnant and
never,
roaming around
never happened. So, I had those advantages, I have to say. We have a lot of girls who work with us, and I go out of my way to sort of create an environment that's safe and comfortable for them to work, and because I know I came from that sort of privileged background, and I want to encourage them to feel safe, that they can also come out of their homes.
How many women would you say pie in the sky employees?
Not enough. Not enough. But only because they are a little hesitant. It's much easier for them, for their families, to allow them to work in a mall.
Right.
Say like Dolman or something. They feel safer letting their girls come. But what we try and make do is that we give them like just the day shift. We don't give them an evening shift. No. We make sure that they have an extra conveyance allowance, so they don't have to worry about just
how
little
to
things.
Work and
your
friends also say that you have. We'll get into your daily day-to-day, but over the thing, your friends say that you have been a wonderful employer to your staff, because they have seen that your staff has really stayed with you. Not many people leave you. In fact, very few might have. And
I don't know whether that's always a good thing.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. But they've stayed with you, and I believe you were the first to start health insurance and things like that for your employees, which is something that a lot of employees don't think of right at the start, especially when you're starting something. A lot of people don't feel that, no? Like this.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know where that's coming from, because I don't think that way. But for me, it's very natural that we provide breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever meals, whatever your duty timings are, your meals are taken care of.
Oh, that's lovely.
We have health insurance for not just our immediate employees, but their families. We have life insurance. It has happened, unfortunately, that we had a couple of not on the job, they passed away while at home, heart attack or whatever, but their family got their life insurance.
Okay. I'm kind of tempted to ask you for a job at this point. Like, we have all this. What does a day look like? What does Monday look like for you? The worst day of the week, in my opinion.
Older one is in university, and the time differences. So as soon as I wake up, which is at 7 o'clock, I'm up. First thing I do is check my WhatsApp to see if he sent a message.
Oh, that's so cute.
And which he normally has something or the other, something about, can I put this in the washing machine, and what spin cycle or something like that.
Some dorm related question.
Well, he's in a frat house. So,
okay.
So something to, anyway.
Yeah.
Then I still have to wake the second one up for school. He can't wake up on his own. So get him up, then...
Listen, no, wait, not even now?
No.
So I shouldn't drink?
No, don't worry. Well, I don't know. Mine don't.
I'm very sure mine are likely not to also. Okay, if yours aren't doing it, pretty sure mine won't. Okay, yeah.
I work out. Now with COVID, I work out at home. I do sort of a half an hour sort of cardio, low impact cardio thing in front of YouTube.
Okay.
Then I do a 45-minute Zoom session with a personal trainer. My niece is a personal trainer, so I do a session with her 5 times a week.
Wow.
Saturday, Sunday I don't. So Monday then, I've worked out, done that, breakfast, shower, whatever, get ready, go to office.
What time is that around for you?
I don't rush.
Okay.
I'm in no rush. Could be 10:30, could be 11.
Okay. You can afford that luxury
Yeah,
now.
After 20 years, I think I can.
You can finally.
Yeah. Then I'm back by 5:36. Really depends.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
That's it.
That's it. But it's just that half an hour after I'm back from work, it's like, just give me just 30 minutes to have my coffee and just unwind, Because otherwise because otherwise as soon as you come back, Baji, sabzi nahi hai. Bhaji diesel dana hai. Bhaji ye something. And I'm
So
like,
there's all
just,
that. There's 24 bakeries, and then there's also when you get back, of course, there is still Bhaji petrol khatam ho gaya hai, yeah, Bhaji diesel nahi, yeah.
Khana kya
generate
pakana
diesel.
hai?
Oh, I hate that question. Oh my God! Every time the cook comes and says Bhaji khane mein kya pakana.
But I do that in the
dodge him.
morning. I do that in the morning before office, so that when I come back, I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, because that question can drive me insane.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
man, just cook anything. Just surprise me.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, so so I have to deal with all of that as well. And so,
Do you scroll on social media?
A
Do you
lot.
find a lot?
A lot.
Yeah. What do you think of food groups? Like Facebook has a lot of. I think we in Karachi, or Pakistan, we generally take our food groups very seriously.
because
What
there's
do you
nothing
think of it?
else. There's no. I mean, for us, food is entertainment. There's no.
I was
there's
going
nothing
to
else.
say, is it entertainment, mirch masala, or is there some
you know,
constructive?
no, it is entertainment. A lot of people. But what else do you do? You know, even pre-COVID, there's no theatre. There's not a lot of cultural activity. So people use, a lot of entertaining. A lot of everything revolves around food.
Well, actually, yes. This
It
is our
does. I mean, abroad as well, but then it's food with museum, and then you go and eat. Or, there's always something attached with the dining experience. Here, it's the dining experience is the experience. It's the whole,
only experience.
So
Should small businesses pay attention to what's being said on social media about them?
it's very controversial. I don't want to start something here.
No, as in like no,
If it's a genuine, but if it's a genuine complaint,
like
then-
as a business owner and somebody who's done it for so many years, and somebody is starting out, and now social media plays a much more different role than it did.
But I also find that social media, a lot of these groups now, not everybody is an expert. Not everybody is a connoisseur in food. Just having a liking, or having sort of it being a sort of something you enjoy doing, or because you've eaten out at a lot of restaurants, doesn't mean you're an expert. So
Or a food critic.
Or a food critic. So my point is, if you have had a genuinely bad experience, bring it up to the restaurant or the cafe or the bakery or whatever it is. Bring it up to them directly.
Instead of this,
You
say
know?
that say a lot of times people don't go the obvious route, which is to call up the restaurant or at least tell the manager at the time, or what, many ways, but they do end up posting it. As a small business, every review can
make or break you.
Can make or break you. What advice can you give to them, about, like, let's say a bad review? How do you take it in? How did you ever take it in, if you ever got one?
If it's genuine, acknowledge it, apologize, and move on. Again, just move on.
Yeah.
Rectify the situation. If there was, we are not perfect. Okay? At Pie in the Sky, we can still mess up. You can have a sort of a cake that didn't quite turn out the way you wanted. Anything can happen. It's, it's all handmade. None of it is automated. It's still very much handmade. So anything can happen. If it's a genuine mistake, acknowledge it. Don't turn around and say, well, customer is not always right. I have to put that out there. But if there is a genuine mistake, just acknowledge it and address it and move on. And I know, sometimes birthday cakes that have got messed up. Something the customer wanted.
Which you obviously never intend to do.
Of course, we would never go sort of deliberately ruin a child's birthday, or if they wanted a shade of green or a blue. Anything can happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
We didn't write happy birthday, or anything can happen. But we have obviously made a mistake on somebody's special day, so you've got to deal with that in a very sensitive manner, in a very and acknowledge that you've messed up.
Because these things happen.
These things happen.
You're right, the customer isn't always right, but I do feel that the customer is usually also not stupid. Like, I've seen, and I've as somebody who's not a business, restaurant owner, or somebody in the food business, I've seen that if you we'll excuse Barbie, but if you kind of speak to the customer nicely and you're genuine and you kind of say sorry, they're okay to let it go.
Well,
you know?
not always.
Yeah,
not always.
Actually true.
But you know, so you have to deal with that as well. You have to deal with that backlash of, I'll take you to court and I'll sue you and I'll bring the police and you deal with all of that as well. So you take that and you can't help it. You know, you have some customers who are understanding and they'll sort of say, okay, galti ho gayi, chalo,
bad day. Okay.
You've acknowledged, the way you've dealt with it makes up for the fact, and then you try and compensate them in whichever way you can. But don't also be so pig-headed and say, okay, nahi, there's no way this could have happened.
I've seen a few, like that, and I was shocked and appalled as to how you can still be running a business and talk to your customers like that.
You can't.
And quite a few do. I wanted to pull up the post that I had actually put about you. Can I please have my phone? And read out the questions that I might have missed that I have asked. I think some of them are related to your trade secrets, so I'll let them be for off cam. One of them has written, she inspires me so much, and I cannot wait for this. Another member wrote, I just want her to know the toffee brownies they make are divine. Somebody says, I can't wait to hear how she does it all. How do you do it all? So is that just don't overthink it and go with the flow, or
when the kids were younger and I had to be very hands-on, I was one of those hands-on mums as well. I used to drop them from school, I would pick them from school,
I've heard this and verified. This is true.
So I would pick, drop, whatever time of the morning. I would volunteer for swimming, I would volunteer for traffic duty, I would do all that as well.
You volunteered for traffic duty while you were building this empire, tell me.
Yeah, of course, why not?
The way you say, of course, why not? I mean, that is another commitment.
No, but
it's remarkable.
But I was I guess I still am, very organized. Okay. Like I would, if I know that, Azan had something, lined up next week, Tuesday at 3 o'clock. I already knew, okay, how are we going to have that Tuesday? How is it going to all fall into place?
It was very fun actually coordinating this with you, because you're like my dream. You were like, okay, putting it on the calendar. Every time I throw you a date, you knew exactly what you were doing on that date, weeks from then. And we scheduled this, I think, weeks in advance, but we knew exactly what time that you would be coming.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have
so you
to.
said that is your secret.
I have to. I have to organize myself, and when the kids were younger, like I said, I really had to. Now they make their own, they find their way. And
so for somebody who's so properly organized, how do you deal when something doesn't go according to plan? Because that, no matter how well you plan.
Well, I think again, sort of, you can plan as much as you want, but it's sort of Murphy's law. If something has to happen, you have to sort of leave those sort of contingency plans as well, and don't let it throw you. Don't sort of say, oh my God, now what? Ye ho gaya to ab kya hoga?
You freeze and panic.
No, nothing will happen. Just okay, take a deep breath. What do we do? And just do it.
And how do you kind of go on?
And go on.
So that, I think, to sum it up, how she does it all is to stay very, very organized.
And calm.
Not
always, but most of the time.
These sound really easy, but they're like really hard to do. Okay. Somebody else writes in that your mini coffee biscuits are to die for, and I wish you could start sending them to the UK. By the way, you should look into that. Some expat little store somewhere. It is remarkable what you've achieved, and you are so humble about it. And you're so like For
me it is. I don't sort of focus on it.
That's amazing. I don't. Because I would really hope that I can embody that.
Oh, thank you, Manahyl.
If I ever got to that level of success. And you inspire a lot of women. A lot of women will be watching this to see that it is possible to do what you have done and to have your own business, to sit on a couch 20 years later and have 24 outlets, 23 more than what you had ever planned for, right
Definitely.
in the beginning, and only so much more to go. And so I really hope it works out in that. Before you go, we just had a quick rapid fire kind of thing, okay? And you try and answer them as honestly as you can. I don't have too many questions, but so try and be as real as you could. What is your favorite restaurant in Pakistan?
Okra.
Okra. Okay. What is your favorite flavor?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I love the combination of banana and chocolate.
Okay.
That's unusual. But I love that.
Yeah.
I think banana is the most underrated flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
You're talking to somebody who I can't even smell
Oh, really?
them. Yeah, I can't.
God. Okay.
Like, I try not to make faces in front of my kids because I don't want them to stop eating them. But God, if they're eating, I can't even be in the same room. It's like, I don't know, it's a texture. It's just too mushy.
I love it.
It's too mushy and it turns black. I'm not a big fan. Okay, chocolate or coffee if you had to pick?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Most promising restaurant in Pakistan coming up?
I can't say Pakistan because with COVID I haven't traveled.
Okay,
I haven't
so
really
Karachi.
been anywhere. I'll say to Karachi. What I really have enjoyed recently is Shanghai Garden.
Okay.
It's like an offshoot of Newbury.
Okay.
Chinese food, really good.
I'm gonna give it a go if you're saying,
you must. It's very good.
Favorite place to holiday when you could have traveled? I understand.
We always, I think, sort of, London is always the sort of the gold
It's Lahore
standard.
in the summer. We should just rename
But
it.
actually, I think one of the most wonderful holidays we've had as a family was the Seychelles.
A restaurant anywhere in the world that you wish was your own?
Granger. The Granger & Co.
Okay.
It's a restaurant run by this Australian chef, Bill Granger.
Quick advice for home chefs. There's so many, and I love that.
Advice as in what? If they want to sort of go professional or...
Yeah, home chefs thinking of going professional. Give me like 3 things they should start off with.
I don't think anybody... Don't get into it to make money. Okay, because it's very competitive right now. When I started Pie in the Sky, we were very lucky. Yeah. Now I think when you open your Facebook page or social media or anything, they're like, every day there are 20 new home bakers, there are 20 new, home chefs, which is great.
Fabulous at the same time, yeah.
But, at the same time, I come up with a very different, very novel concept or idea. Because otherwise you will just become one of the hundreds of people who are doing Causeway.
Right.
Yeah. Or the hundreds of people who are doing pizza or whatever. So, if you're going to do it, then do it really well. Do it so that it really stands out from the crowd.
For my last question, another piece, it is more advice, and I'm sorry to be such an advice magnet right now, but you are from a working couple, both of you work, so what advice would you give to working couples, who are both following their own passions and also trying to raise a family?
Obviously, me time,
okay.
Both of you, separately. Even when the kids were young and Hamid would want to play golf, I'd be like, please, go.
Please go.
Go. He needs that. I have my whatever me time, whatever I choose to do with it. Yeah. But then you need couple time. Okay. You need to, I remember even when we had the kids and they were still young, we would, even if I had to leave them with my mom or my sister, we'd go out for dinner, just the two of us. Just a little couple time, just time for yourselves. I think that's very important, and like he will, it's not as though we bring work home, but we do discuss. If he has a problem, if he has something he needs to, sound out, he'll talk to me about it. I'm there for him, he's there for me. Like if I couldn't be there for the kids for something, he'd pitch in. So, I think you need to sort of
teamwork.
Think of it as teamwork, as being partners. But also leave time for yourselves as a couple, because that's very important, very, very important. Mashallah, I've been married however many years, and I still consider him to be, touch wood, my best friend. I sort of look forward to seeing him when I get home from my day, because he's also working from home nowadays. I look forward to going home and seeing him. So it's nice. We sort of make fun of each other. We're rude about each other.
Of course.
So
that's part of it.
Yeah, we have fun together. We can laugh at each other.
I'm now feeling like it's a missed opportunity to not have had him with us here on the couch. But another time.
He probably wouldn't have
definitely.
agreed.
He probably, yeah, that's another thing now with all of that. But I just wanted to thank you for coming, for taking time out for us. And I know that you really wanted to do this also so that more women can hear of this.
Yeah, of course.
And realize that you too can absolutely do it.
Yes.
And you're sitting there. You also got an award recently, I believe, from the president.
Yes.
So congratulations
Thank
are
you.
in order on so many things.
Thank you.
And thank you again.
Thanks, Manahyl.
I really hoped you enjoyed this episode with Nyla, and I hope you haven't forgotten to subscribe to our channel, because this is my second last episode for you for this season. We will be coming back with our last one very, very soon, and I'll see you for that. Thank you.